So you're going for masters. Well done. I'm so proud of you because you have made the decision to go for masters abroad, and you have made your way to the masters program. But you need to know a lot of terms for the education loan because there are a lot of things involved in education loan. So hey guys, welcome to another video, and in this video we are going to talk about educational loans for master student. So जैसे कि आप जानते हैं कि for going to masters is a very hefty process because there are a lot of fees is involved. For example, if you are going to a university in the US, then around $50,000 is your like tuition fees, and there is then for example clothing, housing, food, then all the sum comes up around like $70,000 to $80,000. So education loan plays a very important role here. So I'll be talking each and every detail about education loans in this video. So अगर आप interested हैं जानने के लिए तो वीडियो को देखते रहिए. So first let us talk about what is collateral. So whenever you go for a loan to the bank, they usually ask you to like deposit a fixed amount of assets. Assets can be, for example, a rental property or a shop you own. So these are all collaterals, and what's normal in this is education loan named Prodigy Finance. They don't charge collaterals, so it is a normal thing here. And what happens if you don't repay the loan? Then the collaterals come into play because they can seize the collateral that you have given them in exchange of the loan. So always ensure that you repay your loan on time. Another term is the principal. So principal is basically the amount of loan which you are applying to. For example, if you are going to a country and the amount which you have calculated is around 60 to 70 lakhs. So if you are taking a loan of like for example 40 lakhs, then 40 lakhs will become the principal amount. And next term, which is interest rate. So interest rate varies according to different banks. They offer different interest rate, and I'll be making a separate video on the interest rate offered by various banks for education loans. But interest rate is basically, for example, I take a loan of 20 lakhs and there is an interest rate of, for example, 6 or 10%. So after I complete my masters, I have to pay the 10 lakh plus the interest rate into 10 lakhs, the total amount of this to the banks. So this keeps on getting compounding each and every month or year. So we should try to repay the loan as soon as possible. The next term is co-signer. So co-signer is basically a person who is going to apply education loan. For example, if I go to a bank and I say, hey, I want to get a loan for this and this amount, and I need to have a co-signer. For example, parents here, they have to go with me and be the co-signer, so that if I fail to repay the loan, the bank can like ask the co-signer to pay the amount of loan which has been taken by us. The next term is a guarantor. So guarantor is any person or a third party whose assets you have pledged to give it as a collateral. For example, your relatives might be your guarantor. Mind you, guarantor and co-signer are not the same. Co-signer can be parents or siblings, but guarantor has to be a third party. For example, your uncle or aunt. For example, they have a rental property and you have given that rental property as a collateral for your if I want to get a loan, I will say that okay, this is the property which we are giving it as a collateral, and then you can give us a loan. So guarantor and co-signer are not the same. So now let us talk about a lot of terms related to interest. So whenever you go to a loan, there is not a simple interest. Like they won't tell you that okay, interest is 6.7% or 7%. There are a lot of other terminology in the interest. So for example, first is the accrued interest. So accrued interest is basically the amount which you have to pay for the to the borrower. For example, I go to a bank and I take a loan. So this interest is like it keeps on adding on each and every day on the unpaid principal amount which I have taken from the bank and which I have to pay them. Next term is a floating interest rate. So floating interest rates are basically which vary over a short period of time. For example, if I am taking a loan and they are giving me at 8%, so it can float over a short period of time, not a long period, but a short period. For example, the interest rate can be 8 to 7 or like 8 to 9%. So this is a important terminology which you should know before going to a bank for a loan. Next term is a fixed interest rate. So fixed interest rate is basically the fixed amount which does not vary as a floating interest rate, but it is kept fixed. For example, I am getting a loan and they tell me that okay, fixed interest rate is 8%, so all I have to only pay the principal amount plus interest into principal as the total amount to the bank. So this does not change. And another key term, which is the annual I think APR, annual percentage rate, which is if you go to Prodigy Finance website, they tell you that they do not use the interest rate, they use the APR. So APR is basically another interest rate which they charge over a certain period of time. So each and every bank has different terminologies. So, and this video is not sponsored by any of them, so I'm just using Prodigy Finance as an example to tell you how these work. So now let us talk about a few terms related to loan repayment. So we have taken the loan, right? So and we have done a master's and we have gotten a job. So I'm all taking the positive scenario here. And how do we repay it? So there are a lot of terms included in the loan repayment. So the first is the loan tenure period. For example, if I'm taking a loan of 40 lakhs and there is a loan tenure period of 15 years, so I have to repay the loan within a 15 years. Somehow or somewhat I have to pay it in the 15 years. So always check the loan tenure period, like after how many years are they asking you to repay the loan. If it is a short time, I think it is not a good loan to go. Next term is the amortization. So amortization is the repayment of loan in fixed installments, including the interest rate and the principal. So if I am repaying the loan in fixed installment, for example, after a 10 lakh loan, I am paying them around 2 to 5,000 rupees per month. So this is known as amortization. So now let us talk about the moratorium period. So moratorium period is basically a fixed amount of period after during which you do not have to pay anything. For example, you are going to a master's program abroad, and after you complete the master's, you are given a certain amount of time, for example 6 to 7 months, in which you do not have to pay any amount of money. But mind you, the interest keeps on charging here. The only benefit of moratorium period is to lessen the financial burden on you during your studies, so that you can focus on getting your studies right and getting a good job. So the only advantage is this, but there are a lot of disadvantages also, because you're not paying anything right now, but the interest keeps on charging here. So when you pay the loan, the interest keeps on adding, and it is equally split among different like if you're paying a 5,000 amount of as an EMI, and the interest of the moratorium period keeps on adding, so you have to pay a large amount of EMI, for example 6 to 7,000 per month. So it is both advantages and disadvantages, but I think it has more cons as pros. So this is what is moratorium period. Another important term is a grace period. So grace period is basically an extension of the moratorium period. For example, your moratorium period is 6 months and you do not have a job right now, so you can apply for the grace period that I do not want to pay the money for another 6 months, and if they grant you, then grace period works for you. Another important term which you should know is the loan waiver. So if you are not able to find a job for 5 consecutive years after your masters, which I hope does not happen to anybody, so you can apply for the loan waiver, and it depends upon the policies of the lender or the bank which you have applied loan to, if they approve your loan request or not. The last term is the loan write-off. So loan write-off is when for example you have an asset and you have given the asset as a collateral for getting the loan, and if your asset is not performing right now and will not perform in the future, so there is no revenue coming from it, so the government or the bank which you have taken loan from can write off your loan for the time being, but you are still liable to repay the loan as soon as you can. Whew. So there were a lot of terms, right? You have covered the terms now. Now let us talk about what are the type of loans available. So there are 4 type of loans available from different banks. So first is the domestic banks, second is NBFCs. NBFCs are non-banking financial companies. Third is the international lenders, for example Prodigy Finance, and fourth is the US based banks which provide loan to students going abroad. So first let us talk about domestic banks. Domestic banks, for example HDFC, SBI or ICICI banks. So these are all domestic banks, and you can get a cost effective loan from these domestic banks. The only problem is that there is a 15% margin. Margin is basically if there is a 15% margin, they will only be covering your 85% of the expenses, which include the travel, food, housing, security, health. All these expenses, they will only be covering the 85% of it. 15% you have to pay it on your own, and these are also cost effective because you can get, I think, $5,600 of loan without a guarantor, and $10,500 of loan without depositing a security. So if you are looking for a cost effective solution, then these banks might be for you. Now let us talk about what are NBFCs. So NBFCs is basically non-banking financial companies, and these are all the companies which offer zero to minimum amount of margin percentage, which basically means that they are going to be covering each and every expense you make in the foreign country. So they offer a lot of flexibility, they offer a very low margin rate, and these are, for example, Incred, Avance, Auxilo. These are all the NBFCs, and these are governed differently by their other counterparts. That's why they are so flexible and much more advanced. And yeah, you can opt for them. It's solely your choice. Next are the educational loans from the international leaders. International leaders, for example, Prodigy Finance. So what they do is basically they do not require a security or a guarantor. So you do not need to give them security, but you should need to prove them that you are able to that you can repay the loan. And these why these are more flexible and advanced, because they give you directly they give you loan directly in the terms of US dollars. For example, whenever you apply for a loan, you have to show them, even in the I-20 also, you have to show them that you can like you have this amount of funds, not in INR but in USD. So what these banks do is they basically provide you loan in terms of USD, and there are a lot of universities on their site also. You can go through them and check the amount of loan which they are offering. Also, let us talk about interest rate here. So interest rate is flexible here. It is a floating interest rate, so it floats varying upon your financial stability, your current condition. So yeah, you can negotiate on the interest rate. Telling you what are the documents required for the loan. Let me tell you, you might be confused that which of the following banks we should opt for, or which is offering the best interest rate. So I'll be making a separate video on all of these topics. For example, I'll be making a separate video on all the interest rate that each and every bank offers, and what is the best alternative that you can go for. So now let me tell you about what are the documents required for your education loan. So I have written them down because there are a lot of things. So let me just read them out and tell you about it. So the first document is your I-20. I-20 is basically a document issued by the graduate admissions office that you have to show a minimum amount of funds that okay, this is the tuition fees as well as the health expenses. I can cover these all with or without the loan. Second is the offer letter. You have to show that you are going to a specific amount of university and you have the offer letter with you. Third is the loan form. So they will be the bank will be providing a loan form which you have to fill and return back to the bank. Fourth is the mark sheets. Mark sheets may be 10th, 12th, your graduate as well as your postgraduate if you have done it. Next is the IELTS and TOEFL mark sheets. So if you are given IELTS or TOEFL, you have to show them. Same goes for GRE and GMAT mark sheets. Next thing is residential proof. So you have to show that you are a resident of this country and you have a stable source of income here. Another thing which you have to also show is KYC here. KYC basically these both are the same things here. And next thing is the PAN card or the Aadhaar card, which you have to show if you are from India. I'm assuming you are from India, so you have to show them, you have to give them a copy of your PAN card or Aadhaar card. And next is your passport, which you there's no obvious point here, you should be having a passport. And next is the details of assets and the ITR. For example, you have to show them that okay, these are the assets I have. You have to list all the assets you have, as well as you have to show them the income tax returns of your past, I think 6 to 7 months. You have to check with the bank how many months of ITR they require. So this is it for the video, guys, and I hope you like the video. In this video I basically talked about what are the important bank details and what are the important terminology which you should must know before applying for a bank loan, because there are a lot of terms here and you might get confused in them. So in this video I basically told you about all the basic terms and what are the documents needed to apply for the loan, as well as what are the different loans available. And I'll be creating a full playlist of this, and in the upcoming videos I will be telling you about all the different type of loans available. For example, which bank is offering the best interest rate, whether you should go for the domestic bank or the NBFCs, or what is the next step after applying the loan, like how do you repay it. So I will be making a full playlist of this, so stay tuned. And if you like the video, do give it a like, and if the content is like relevant to you, do consider subscribing the channel, and I'll be posting more and more content each and every day. So इस वीडियो के लिए इतना ही, मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में.
So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I'd never kiss the rain. Ice runs in